Welcome to the news. You're with me, Job Frank Chakaza. The headlines. High Court rebuffs Mutharika and Muhara on 170 million kwacha relief after losing a case. Lawmakers cautioned against politicizing Malawi 2063 development vision for national growth. Government is optimistic COVID-19 vaccination exercise will be successful despite continued misconceptions. In sports, Flames boost AFCON qualification chances after winning. Now the news in details. High Court Judge Kenyatta Nyirenda has thrown out an application by former President Peter Mutharika and former Chief Secretary Lloyd Muhara in which the two wanted to hold the claim made for them to pay 170 million kwacha for forcing into leave Chief Justice Andrew Nyirenda and another judge way back in 2020. The two had applied to have the claim aborted on basis that it was too high. But in his ruling, Nyirenda says the claim lacked merit and that the two should bear the costs. Andrew Viano's further report.
In a written judgment made on March 22, in the chambers that Zodiak has seen, High Court Judge Kenyatta Nyirenda has dismissed the application by lawyers for former President Peter Mutharika and former Chief Secretary to the government Lloyd Muhara, who applied for a stay on an order to have the two pay 170 million kwacha. This was a claim by the lawyers of Malawi Law Society, Human Rights Defenders Coalition, and Association of Magistrates before assessment was made by Registrar of the Courts. In their argument, lawyers for Mutharika and Muhara, Charles Mohango and Mwaibanda, argued that the costs were too high to be covered by their clients. But in response, one of the lawyers for the applicants, Kumbo Soko, argued the costs put forth were before an assessment by Registrar of the High Court. And in his judgment, Justice Kenyatta Nyirenda wondered why it took so long for the two to make an application for the stay of the claim. He has since dismissed it in totality, with costs adding it was devoid of merit. Mutharika and Muhara already face a 68 million kwacha bill for their role in the alleged plot to remove Chief Justice Andrew Nyirenda and Justice Twea following a ruling made on March 12. On June 12, 2020, Muhara issued a public notice that the Chief Justice Andrew Nyirenda and Twea should proceed on leave to clear the days pending retirement, a development that angered HRDC, Association of Magistrates in Malawi, and lawyers who later held demonstrations protesting the decisions as infringement of the doctrine of separation of powers.
The National Planning Commission has cautioned members of parliament against politicizing the development blueprint, Malawi 2063. NPC Board Chairperson Professor Richard Mkandawire sounded the caution on Wednesday when he submitted the vision document to the National Assembly as part of popularizing the development vision with various stakeholders. Receiving the document on behalf of the lawmakers, Speaker of Parliament Catherine Gotani-Hara assured NPC she will ensure that politics is not at play in the implementation of the document. Shimome Badata has filed this report.
National Planning Commission, NPC, fears politicizing implementation of the Malawi 2063 would defeat its ambitions. The document has been handed over to the National Assembly through Speaker of Parliament Catherine Gotani-Hara to act as a reference point of Parliament's oversight functions. NPC Board Chairperson Professor Richard Mkandawire called on all Malawians, regardless of their political affiliation, to ensure smooth implementation of the ratified document.
This is not a vision which has been crafted by one political party. We don't want any political party to claim that they're owners of this vision. This vision is Malawian owned. And this is precisely why we're saying that, all political party manifestos, they must align themselves to what Malawians are saying.
Speaker of Parliament Catherine Gotani-Hara said unless politics is not at play in the functions of pillars of the document, Malawi can attain its prospects contained in the vision.
I think for us as politicians is to listen to what the people themselves want. As politicians, we have to go by what the people want. And you need to know that they have said even for the development, other specific development agendas, the Planning Commission is going to go around the country to actually get the specifics of what people in the specific areas want.
The Malawi 2063 was adopted early this year, and the visions transforming Malawi into a wealth creation and industrialized nation. For Zodiac, this is Chimwemwe Padata.
And in Parliament, Member of Parliament for Chitipa South, Welani Chilenga, has accused government of being controlled by the World Bank to cancel the Salima Lilongwe water project. Chilenga says government risks being dragged back to court if it goes ahead with the plans to adopt the Diampui water project. On the other hand, Chilenga appealed to the Anti-Corruption Bureau to investigate a Kenyan company which disappeared with taxpayers' money for elevators at the Kamuzu International Airport. Government officials are yet to comment on the matter. We have a report filed by Western Guta.
Chitipa South legislator Welani Chilenga regretted that Kato Civils may drag government back to court if it goes ahead with plans to replace the Lilongwe Salima water project with the Diampwe project. Chilenga alleged that government is being persuaded by the World Bank to opt for Diampwe despite that it already signed a contract with Kato Civils.
It looks like government has lost interest. They are being influenced by World Bank at the expense of Malawians paying $71 million. The water at the lake is sustainable. If you talk of Diampwe, it will only last up to 2045. So we don't want to go into another contract after 2045. We want to tap water from the lake that is sustainable and will last for a very long time.
Chilenga further contributed to a statement of the Committee of Industry, Trade and Tourism, where he accused the Anti-Corruption Bureau of being mum on the issue of a Kenyan company which swindled Malawi a lot of money. He said in 2014, the company disappeared immediately after pocketing all contractual funds for an elevator at the Kamuzu International Airport, which the Department of Civil Aviation handled.
We paid that money in 2 or 3 installments. After we had made the last payment, which passed through this parliament, it was discovered that the company disappeared. So it's like the Malawi government paid the money to a bogus company in Kenya. That's what I was saying, maybe the Ombudsman or the Anti-Corruption Bureau. If in Parliament us were the ones who approved those funds, we should investigate and bring these perpetrators to book.
Parliament adjourned until Thursday morning. Reporting for Zodiac, I'm Western Guta.
Elephants have destroyed at least 6 hectares of crop fields belonging to 71 households in the area of traditional authority Ponde in Kota. Village headman Gadam Manja told us 8 elephants invaded his area, devouring maize, groundnuts, cassava, and other crops, leaving the families at the risk of hunger. Currently, game rangers from Kwagwanji National Park, where the elephants are bolted from, have been deployed in the area to contain the situation. John Pogayuni visited the area and reports.
Village headman Kadam Manja told us a total of 8 elephants broke loose from Kota Game Reserve and invaded his area last week, where they wreaked havoc by destroying crop fields of 71 households. He said at least 6 hectares of maize, groundnuts, cassava and other crops have been consumed by the giants. No man has been injured. Following this, the village headman says his people are likely going to face hunger and called for immediate assistance. As we speak, rangers from Kota Wild Reserve have managed to drive 5 elephants back into the reserve and killed 3 in the process. African Parks officials who manage the protected area could not immediately comment on the matter. But during our visit to this area, we found huge crop fields destroyed and saw traces where the elephants were gunned down. Meanwhile, officials from Department of Disaster Management Affairs, DODMA, at Kota District Council are still assessing the extent of damage. For Zodiac in Kota, this is John Paul Kayuni.
A local policy think tank, Mwapata Institute, believes that enacting laws that follow comprehensive policy research is key to transforming the agricultural sector and enhancing the socio-economic development of the country. The Institute's acting executive director, William Jaza, made the remarks Tuesday night in Lilongwe when his organization engaged members of parliament through 3 parliamentary committees of agriculture, trade and natural resources. He urged the legislators to partner with his organization, which is involved in agricultural research for the uplifting of the sector. Madatsopiri reports.
Speaking during the interface with the parliamentarians, Acting Executive Director for Mapata Institute, William Chadza, said his organization conducts research which comes up with evidence on how the agricultural sector can develop. He says, therefore, the partnership with legislators is very key.
We believe that this partnership is going to help the agricultural sector specifically and the economy more broadly. Because it means that the committee members are going to have adequate information for them to effectively contribute in debates, but at the same time they also have adequate information for them to scrutinize various reports, which is going to have an overall broader impact.
And Deputy Chairperson of the Agriculture Committee of Parliament, Ulemuchira Pondwa, said they were impressed with the presentations on what Mapata is doing.
What actually caught our hearts most was the research that they've been doing on different areas in the agriculture sector, and of course the proposal to come up with policies that will help improve the agriculture sector. One policy is that of actually adding value to what we grow in Malawi. This is one area that as a country, as a Committee on Agriculture, we have to help the Ministry of Agriculture push for policies that will actually make us be in the addition of value seriously.
And Chairperson of the Trade Parliamentary Committee, Simplex Chichola Banda, said his committee was ready to work with organizations for the betterment of the country.
They are highlighting some of the challenges in the agricultural sector, in the trade sector. For example, that we import more than what we produce. This is evident if you go around shops in Lilongwe. Go to Gateway Mall tomorrow. You see that most of the vegetables and fruits are actually imported from outside. That has a very bad bearing on the local production, which is done by our farmers. So for us, I think it's a timely intervention because it is opening up our eyes to see on the areas that require our urgent attention.
This was the first time for Mapata Institute to engage the members of Parliament. For Zodiak, this is Madalitso Piri reporting.
The Malawi Electoral Commission says ballot papers for the March 30 by-elections are expected to arrive in the country this Friday through Kamuzu International Airport. MEC Director of Media and Public Relations, Sangwani Mwafulira, has told us the ballots will be dispatched to constituencies and wards the same day. Arrival of the ballots has been cancelled twice due to unavailability of flights to transport the papers from Dubai to Malawi. Adam Zundaninga has been following the issue.
Ballot papers for the March 30 by-elections are expected to arrive in the country this coming Friday through Kamuzu International Airport in Lilongwe at around 4 on Emirates flight number EK9318. According to Malawi Electoral Commission Director of Media and Public Relations, Sangwani Mwafulira, the ballot papers will be dispatched to wards and constituencies the same day. Mwafulira then asked contesting political parties and independent candidates to send at least 2 representatives to witness the arrival and distribution of ballot papers at naval centers.
Upon receipt, we will dispatch them immediately to the constituencies. We have identified the places, central places within each and every area where by-elections are taking place, and we are calling them our naval centers. So the ballot papers will be transported directly from Kamuzu International Airport to the naval centers. We expect that in some naval centers, those that are close to Lilongwe, the ballot papers will arrive in the night. For those far, we expect them to arrive on Saturday morning.
The March 30 by-elections are expected to be conducted in 7 constituencies and 2 wards. Reporting for ZBS News, this is Adams Clement, Nkhani.
Watching the news here on Zodiak, we'll be back with more after this.
Do your gums hurt? Yeah. Does your toothpaste contain sage, eucalyptus, myrrh, chamomile? All that in one toothpaste? Yes, try Colgate Herbal. Colgate Herbal contains nature's best herbs and Colgate's fluoride technology to give you strong teeth and healthy gums. Ah, Colgate Herbal. Let's go. Colgate Herbal for strong teeth and healthy gums naturally.
Welcome back. Here with me, Job Frank Chakaza. As we continue with the news, let's take another look at the top stories. High Court rebuffs Mutharika and Mohara on 170 million kwacha relief after losing a case. Lawmakers cautioned against politicizing Malawi 2063 development vision for national growth. Government is optimistic COVID-19 vaccination exercise will be successful despite continued misconceptions. In sports, Flames boost AFCON qualification chances. Now moving on, the Public Health Institute management says Malawi is still having their hopes of achieving positive response in COVID-19 vaccination despite continued misconceptions of the vaccine amongst communities. Director of the Institute, Dr. Ben Chilima, said this on Wednesday during a civil society engagement as a way of intensifying more awareness to Malawians on the positives of AstraZeneca vaccine of COVID-19. Meanwhile, Director of Programs at Malawi Red Cross Society, a partner in supporting national COVID-19 vaccination, Priska Chisala, says with more convincing messages to the people, the vaccination program will ably be achieved. Jacqueline Shema reports.
Misconceptions about the COVID-19 vaccine continue to haunt a lot of Malawians as rolling out exercise is underway. This, according to stakeholders, requires concerted efforts to ensure correct information about the vaccine is being spread, especially to the rural masses. According to the Public Health Institute management, continued wrong information may not only scare people, but also poses a health risk to the populace if a larger section will not be vaccinated. However, Director of the Institute, Dr. Ben Chilima, is optimistic that engaging more stakeholders such as the civil society organizations is crucial to help send positive messages on the vaccine.
We understand that the civil society organizations are in touch with the local communities, literally in the villages. And therefore, they need to understand the message, the purpose, and indeed the importance of that message, because they are the ones who can carry that message to every individual in the villages. The second wave, as we are calling it, was very severe in January and February. But everyone can see that from the updates that those numbers have gone way, way down by now, which means we're doing something very good. We should be able to win this war, and with the vaccine in place, we should fight it even harder, but let's not relax, because the challenge is still somewhere around the world. It can hit us again and again and again.
The Institute is currently engaging various stakeholders on the vaccine intervention support, where Wednesday morning it engaged some CSOs on health. National Community Health Ambassador Mazigo Matemba admits that there is a gap in information dissemination on the COVID-19 vaccine, hence the misconception.
Because as civil society, we are gatekeepers. We are between government and communities. So we play a role of giving credible information, which is verifiable. So the Ministry of Health here is trying to give us the credible information about the vaccination, but also the whole COVID-19 response, so that we can give that information to the public in a more objective manner, so that we save the public from the COVID-19 pandemic.
Meanwhile, the Malawi Red Cross Society is supporting government in the national COVID-19 vaccination with a plea to the CSOs to continuously take lead in sensitizing the masses. Priska Chisala is its programs director.
As in, the government is now looking at deploying the COVID-19 vaccine, or rolling out the COVID-19 vaccine across the country. We have also partnered with them, where we have set aside some funds with support from the European Union as well as the Danish Red Cross that will support risk communication and community engagement interventions at central level as well as at community level. So in terms of the interventions that the government is doing in as far as rolling out of the vaccine is concerned, basically at the moment we are supporting them to make engagements with various influential groups.
The Malawi Red Cross Society has pumped in about 150 million kwacha in COVID-19 programs, with 40 million kwacha to supporting the national COVID-19 vaccination. For Zodiak in Nilongwe, this is Jacqueline Shema reporting.
Meanwhile, the Chief Justice has asked employees of the judiciary to ignore the misinformation and calculated attempts by other quarters to disturb the COVID-19 vaccination process in the country. Speaking during the official opening of COVID-19 exercise for the judiciary workers in Blantyre on Wednesday, Chief Justice Andrew Nyurenda assured the employees that the vaccine is safe and hope for the citizens, and offers hope for the citizens. This comes when health officials indicate that over 12,000 people have received the AstraZeneca jab in Blantyre. Christopher Sande with details.
Influential people continue to encourage communities on the importance of COVID-19 vaccination. Today, we have seen judges and magistrates receiving the AstraZeneca jab. Chief Justice Andrew Nyurenda told his officers that the vaccine is the hope for the country. One of the judges who received the vaccine is Justice Rizini Zegamanda.
I think there's an important message going around that if we want to protect ourselves against the COVID-19, apart from the three things that we do, wearing the mask, washing hands, and social distancing, we should take a vaccine. And I thought it was wise to take a vaccine. I trust that this is the correct thing to do. Many people within the country have done it. My own Chief Justice has done it. The world over it has been done. And I thought this was the right thing to do, so I took up the job.
Currently, health officials in Blantyre say over 12,000 people have received the vaccine. Reporting for Zodiac from Blantyre, this is Christopher Sande.
Still on COVID, Old Mutual Managing Director Roy Punungwe says although the country is still in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic, a lot will depend on how successful the vaccine rollout will be. He said this Tuesday in Blantyre during the bonus guaranteed fund declaration aimed at cushioning economic hardships caused by COVID-19.
The situation is industry-wide, where some employers are struggling to remit the contributions, whether they're employee or employer contributions, to entities like us, where we have the responsibility of investing these amounts. This issue has been in the industry for a very, very long time. So I think together as an industry, also with the regulator, we are trying to find a lasting solution to the issue to ensure that these funds are invested well in time so that they do earn the interest that they need to earn. So I think it is a collective approach that we need to take, including, of course, the employers, to see how we can address the issue, because we are cognizant they are facing real challenges on their side. As we know that 2020 was a very tough environment, so many of the employers had cash flow challenges, which made it a challenge in terms of being able to have enough funds to remit into the guaranteed fund so that we can invest. So what we're doing is very simple concept actually. All these pension funds give us their funds to invest. So essentially we do invest these amounts in the stock market, but sometimes, as you know, especially with 2020, the investment is not always where we want it to be. It can fluctuate up and down. But with the guaranteed fund, with the smoothing concept, we are able to ensure that there's low volatility and more stable returns that we provide to our clients. So as you know, with the 2020, we declared a bonus of 11%, even though the fund performance was 8.2. So it was still more than how the fund performed in 2020. The bonus is really dependent also overall in terms of how well the funds do in terms of investment. I think we should not look at the trend without looking at the other economic factors. We also know that inflation has been going down, and the main commitment from us is that we'll always give you a return that is higher than inflation. So that means you're actually getting real value.
In sports news, the Malawi national football team has boosted its chances of securing a place at next year's finals in the Africa Cup of Nations in Cameroon after they beat South Sudan 1-0 in Khartoum. Richard Mbulu, who plays for South African top-flight outfit Baroka FC, scored the lone goal for the Flames a minute after recess. However, the Flames' ticket to Cameroon will be confirmed if they beat Uganda, whom they face in their final Group B qualifier at Kamuzu Stadium in Blantyre on Monday. Sam Banda reports.
A combination of self-belief, unity and determination have helped the Flames revitalize their chances of securing a place at next year's Africa Cup of Nations in Cameroon after they chalked a much-needed victory over South Sudan in the Sudanese capital Khartoum on Wednesday. The 3 points garnered have taken the Flames' tally in Group B to 7 points from 5 round-robin games ahead of their final match at home to Ugandan Cranes at Kamuzu Stadium in Blantyre this Monday. Burkina Faso, who lead the group with 9 points, have also done the Flames a huge favor by holding Uganda to a goalless draw in Kampala, leaving Malawi with an outright win over the East African champions, their only option to turn their dream into a reality. Soccer analysts George Chiusiwa and Higam Kandawire have hailed the Flames for the vital victory, saying it will motivate them to pull another surprise when they face Uganda on Monday.
This is a strong drive as we go into the last round of the qualifiers. The Flames have given themselves a huge boost because they are facing Uganda at home and everything is in their hands. If they miss it, then they miss it for good. But surely, Malawi is poised to make it to Cameroon.
Malawi have got advantage that they are going to play at home. They've got no pressure at all. And they've got all chances whereby Malawi can qualify because it's a must win. So still, we have got a hill to climb. We have got a mountain to climb so that Malawi should not relax.
The Flames last played at the finals of the Africa Cup of Nations in Angola 11 years ago.
And that's it for now. Let's take another look at the headlines before we leave. High Court rebuffs Mutharika and Mohara on 170 million kwacha relief after losing a case. Lawmakers cautioned against politicizing Malawi 2063 development vision for national growth. Government is optimistic COVID-19 vaccination exercise will be successful despite continued misconceptions. And in sports, Flames boost AFCON qualification chances after winning game against South Sudan. Our website is zodiacmalawi.com. You can visit that website for more news. If you are in the target groups for the first phase of COVID-19 vaccine, please go for the jab without fail. You could save your life and that of others. My name is Frank Chakaza. Thanks for watching.
Kodi matenda